Hey everybody, Model Man here. Hey everybody, Model Man here with a look at the garage kit Orion 3 spaceplane from 2001 Space Odyssey, produced by Stargazer Models. This originally came packed in peanuts. I had a brief look at it a couple months ago before I moved out of my previous apartment, and it looked really nice, but I didn't really get a chance to have a good look at it. The resin is nice and hefty and looks really well and sharply defined. One nice big wing. Some decals, instructions, and a little bit of plastic for the windows. So it's not too many pieces. This is 1/44 scale, and if there's one thing that Stargazer has done over the years, it's to research 2001 models and ships. So his work is usually spot on. So there's a few pieces here. Wow, usually I do a parts layout really quick before I put the piece together, but this thing pretty much just assembled itself in front of my eyes, and this is a really nicely sized kit. It's about 18 inches long. Details are really nice. There's some really dense, heavy resin going on here. Parts assembly is relatively straightforward here. Section 1 to Section 2 to Section 3. And the most surprising thing was that there's a bridge. I knew there was an interior passenger section, but I didn't realize that there was a bridge section as well. And I'll show you something else once we actually look at the parts here too. But just to get a look at some of the details here. Some really fine work going on here. Now there were two versions of this kit. Just in the last year or so, 2009, 2010, one part was re-engineered. I think it was the nose, to be more accurate. So if you got yours before then the kit is definitely slightly different, but pretty much it's the same thing. I don't know if there's going to be a third revision to it at all, but it looks pretty good from what I'm seeing here. Not only do you get the seats and the floor, but when you take this piece up, there's the inner cabin as well. There's some really nice details in here. Immediately I want to light this, but that's going to be a trick. It's going to be a real trick, because you can't cut into the outside. I don't know. It can be done. We'll see how it goes. But that's not the only trick there, is the sealing on that. If you look in here, so into this slots this piece here, and over here the nose slots into this for a control panel in there. So 15 pieces in all. Some really phenomenal details going on in here. Scribe lines are nice and true. Occasionally I'm seeing a pit in the outer resin, but it's not too bad overall. Like this one here, for example. but really, really negligible. Really fine details going on in here. Passenger cabin is just really great. Both the seats and the ceiling. And of course we haven't had a good look at the engines yet. Certainly an interesting look from that angle. These two pieces right here are sort of antennas that come off of these two spots right there. This is really fine. There are 3 plastic versions of this kit that have been on the market over the years. 2 of them from the 60s and just one from this year, 2011. And they've all got their problems, really. If you really love the film, chances are you're going to want to hold off and get something really good. And the plastic may be half the price of this, but the quality here is incredible. And with the Stargazer brand, he does a lot of stuff in 1/144th scale, such as this, and my first purchase from him, the Illusion. If you don't remember seeing this in the film 2001 Space Odyssey, when they're on the space station, look at the office for the Hilton, and on the desk will be this ship. They built it, but never filmed it. So let's take a look at them side by side. So the Illusion is just slightly smaller, probably like 15 to 16 inches. And overall the details are definitely not as strong or distinct. I don't know if I'm getting that right. But basically over here there's so much more research that's been done on the Orion here than is available. There's very few stills of this model available at all, so I'm sure a lot of the details are guessed at just to make them make sense, whereas this has distinct guidelines that can be drawn from. Much simpler model kit here. The seam down the middle is a little bit of a tough thing, however the design splits into these 2 humps basically and continues down, so that basically hides itself. But 2 body parts, the engine and the wings for 5 parts, whereas with the Orion here we've got 15 parts. And wow, definitely amazing. If you're going to get one or the other, I definitely suggest the Orion. But if you're looking to get pretty much Stargazer's entire line in 1/144, then start with this one. It's relatively cheap, or the cheapest of them all. Most affordable, I should say, really. And yeah. So if you're a fan of 2001 Space Odyssey and you build models, this is one you have got to have, basically. No one else has done this subject except in plastic, and not very well. Stargazer here with the resin, it's definitely more expensive than the plastic, but what a great model, really. There's a lot of love that's been put into this, and the research done really shows. So thanks for watching as always.